The first show of the year. I'm very happy, excited.
2016.
Yes, 2016. I have my guest here, Rodrigo Lopresti. I got it right.
You got it right. You got it right.
I got it right. A very gifted actor, I might say.
Oh,
very, very
Listen.
gifted actor, director, artist. You're a musician. I mean, you're an artist.
I am.
Is the truth of the matter. You are. But it's very interesting. We were talking, obviously, we're going to be talking about your craft, your work, your profession. But we were talking behind the camera a little bit about the business and what's happening out there. It seems like there's a lot of options in terms of like movies,
Shifting a
films,
lot. Yeah.
reality shows,
Content, so
television,
much content. Yeah.
all the internet series. What do you think? I mean, we're facing very different times now.
I think, I think my experience of it, what's happening now is what I understand happened in the 70s, right? Which was, it just shifted. The market just shifted completely. At one point, it belonged to the studios, and the studios were making things, and then they started giving money to these directors to just do experiments, and that's where all these actors like Harvey Keitel came from, right? Like Easy Rider and all these movies. And I think what's happening now, because the technology of these cameras has gotten so accessible, and you can buy a camera for not that much money, you can go out and shoot a film, right? So in a way,
you can if shoot you look on a phone too, right?
You can shoot on a phone, yeah, like Tangerine, you know. I mean, so what's happening now is the content is getting ridiculously out of hand, and the festivals are being consumed by all this content. And the difficult thing now is to try to break through that, right? So in a way, the bar is raising, but it's giving everybody the tools to go out and shoot a film.
Right.
So, you know, if you watch like the shorts from the 70s, like you know, George Lucas, THX 1138, with that film, he was able to get money for THX 1138 based off of the short. If you saw that short now, you'd laugh.
I never
know, like
seen
if I was like, hey, Sissy, I shot this movie.
You were like, wait a minute.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Right.
So
now it's slightly different, right?
It's extremely different. Yeah,
different.
I feel like younger people are doing so many amazing things in a way. You know,
it seems like it's a little crazy because you go, like I'm telling you, I'm in bed flipping channels, and I go and I keep flipping channels. Like it's like playing a video game. It's rare for me, right?
To
stay
it's
in one single
too, because there's so much of it.
It's so
right?
much, but it's so much junk out there too.
There's a lot of junk. Yeah,
so
there's a lot of noise.
It's a lot of noise, but it's like, honestly, without disrespecting any networks or anybody, it's not about that. But I'm flipping channels, Rodrigo. I'm Saturday night. I said, okay, I'm not gonna rent a movie. I'm gonna buy a movie. I'm the old school. I'm still buying movies. I don't do Netflix. I have all the channels and all Showtime and Cinemax and HBO. I'm very old-fashioned. So I said, okay, I'm not gonna put a movie. I'm just gonna flip channels, and I'm gonna be a regular viewer and become a regular viewer. Let me see if I can. And I just stay there. And let's say I just leave it on NBC, or I leave it on. There's a show there.
On NBC?
On NBC. And it's showing, it's a prime time, whether it's Sunday night, and you see these actors, and next thing you see it, and I'm not even buying it.
Yeah.
Like it's not even.
Is it single camera or multi-camera?
It's multiple cameras, but it seems like, I don't know if it's a director's problem, it's an actor's problem.
I feel like it's.
What is it?
It's. You know, and it's interesting you bring this up, because I often complain from just having been on certain shows, who will go nameless, but there's like a rhythm to these shows that they just think that the public wants. And God forbid that you have a thought as an actor on camera, they're just gonna cut it out, and it's gonna be line.
Yes.
And there's a lot of these shows. It doesn't mean that it's, you know, every show.
Right.
We know there's good shows out there, but a lot of these prime time shows, it seems like they just want this pace, you know, for the average person to consume, and it's not interesting, right? It's watered down.
Rodrigo, I was literally sick. I said, what is this crap?
Right.
I said, I can't stand it.
You know, like that works really good for sitcom, right? Like when you watch Friends, you want to be like, hey, say the joke now, I'll say my joke, and we say our joke, and we're all laughing and having a good time. But for drama, it's, you know, like, let's have something, some real moments there, for the love of God, right? Like, they're not going to hurt anybody.
You're right, but even for comedies, you know, it's like, I said, we're not going to mention any big names, but even certain comedies on television. It's like, I don't know if it's a problem that obviously is about ratings and numbers, and you got to pay the bills and big networks. But it's like, to me, PBS is one of the stations that, it's like every time that I'm just flipping and I say, you know what, let me go to PBS. Whether they're showing a documentary or whether they're showing, I don't care, Downtown Abbey or whatever might be the case, I can breathe. I can say, okay, this is what you want. This is worth watching. And I hate to say it because I'm nobody to come out with such statement, but it's something that grabs you. And having all the opportunities for actors, you're an artist, you're out there, you work a lot, you're gifted, talented, certainly you know what you're doing. How do we actors or entertainers or writers, how do we break in? Why is it so hard to get let's say what do they call a break in this business? Yeah. Why is it so damn hard to get a break when you see so much junk out there, when you see so many actors who are poorly trained or they have no training whatsoever? Models that come in, and this is not coming out of frustration, it's coming out of I'm tired.
Yeah, this is a lot.
Tired. I shouldn't. Yeah. I'm sorry that I'm opening up the show this way. This is 2016.
Yeah, we should be positive. We should be all positive.
And say, wait a minute.
Everything's great.
I think everything is great, and it is great. But you know what? It's a lot of great stuff happening out there. There's a lot of great actors doing work. Actors and directors and writers directing and writing and creating ideas.
Yeah, that's the positive side of it, that it's all accessible and you can do it and you can work on your craft and get better at it, and and it's all there accessible to us. So that is the bright side of looking at it.
Yes, but it's good to have a critical eye too.
I'm sorry. Look, listen, I will go down that route with you.
Yeah, man. It's like I said it, and I'm flipping, and I said I'm going to big shows, and I'm like a great show, Breaking Bad. I never seen it. I'm going to. Everybody says that Bryan Cranston is to die for.
Yeah, he's great. I mean, me too. I've seen. Unfortunately, I've seen pieces here and there.
I never seen The Sopranos. To give you an example, I've never seen The Sopranos. I know that I had to get it and sit down one day. I'm seeing The Affair on Showtime with Dominic West and Ruth Wilson. That's a show to check. The Affair. Everybody says, Sissy, you love the actor. Forget about the actor. He's great and he's handsome and he's drop dead gorgeous, but he can act. And he's pretty good at it. And it's a great show for actors. But anyway, enough of that. We're talking about you, Rodrigo. Let's talk about your background, your upbringing, and your craft, acting. You have all the Argentine blood in you, a little bit.
I do.
A little bit, right?
Yeah,
but you don't look Spanish.
Oh. Yeah. I mean,
Do you get it a lot?
It comes in handy. Yeah.
It's good, and it's good to have
flexibility. Yeah.
Yes, you're very versatile. Let's talk a little bit about your upbringing, coming to acting. Do you remember the first memory when you decided to become an actor?
The first memory, I think I was obsessed with film from a very, very young age. But I remember being 8 years old. When I was young, actually, before this, my mom used to send me out on commercials. My mom is an actress, or was an actress. And growing up, she used to send me out to commercial auditions and things like that. And I remember one time my sister didn't want to come with me to some audition. And and I put up a fit. I ended up going, but I had a miserable time for whatever reason because I wanted her to come. And then she stopped putting me out there. And then not until I was 8 years old did I realize that this is what I wanted to do. I just became obsessed with films and watched a lot of films. And I spent a lot of years just locked away watching films.
Right, it's a great school.
Very OCD, yeah. And and that in a way became my inspiration. I realized, we have crazy imagination. So you watch one movie and you're like, oh my God, I want to be a doctor,
Right.
And then you watch another movie and you're like, no, I want to be a scientist. And then you watch another movie and you're like, no, I want to be an astronaut, And so then you're like, no, what I want to be is an actor because I would like to experience all these things somehow, right?
Yeah. But you have obviously the talent and the gift. This is a craft, and acting it's subjective matters. And people say, well, great actors are great actors everywhere. When people see the great actors, obviously respected by everyone. But acting is a gift, it's a business, and it's a hard thing to approach, right? Even in the way, like, I'm not saying to open up about how you bring the characters alive and how does it work for you, but do you like to keep diaries? Do you like to keep notes, so you find yourself going by your instincts and your guts? Do you rationalize a lot the work, or you just let the script do the work?
Do most of it. I think it varies, right? There's certain things that you just read and they hit you, right? They hit you. You could read a page of it or 2 pages of it, and for some reason, I mean, with me, it's this weird thing that I have where it's whatever it is that I'm going through in life. For some reason, I seem to attract those things. You know, with acting, like these scripts would just materialize out of nowhere and be like, here, you just broke up with somebody, here's a script about a breakup, you know.
Right.
So I do have that going for me, or maybe that's just how I relate to things. But there are things sometimes that require a little more focus and more attention, and sometimes it is a technicality, you know, but I think the balance is, you know, you have to find a way to relate to the material in order for it to function. But, you know, with that said, there is things that you read, there are things that I read that I'm like, yeah, I just can't, this is not anywhere near of where I am, or,
Yeah.
you know. And I guess that's part of interest too.
Right, but you let the script do the work. Basically, you have to feel that connection from the beginning, because sometimes you start reading something and it's not that great, but then when you start reading, you say, whoa, wait a minute, this is good stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
You have to find you have to relate to the character, right? You have to see yourself in the what are the similarities between you and the character, and I think that's always, you know, the thing with every actor, right? Like,
right.
That's how we connect to things.
Right.
And there's similarities in all of us, right? Like, we all have fears, we all have things that make us happy, whether it's, you know, key lime pie, which I love, or, you know, for somebody else, I don't know, you know, spas.
Right.
It's just a matter of finding the things that, you know, that the fears and the joys or whatever.
Right. I think it's good, like when you read something, it's got to get that impression, and you gotta do this, I want to do this. But obviously, when you see a lot of work, you develop a sense.
Right.
Well,
you also have a taste, right? You have taste. And, you know, with that said, there are things that we have to do for money, unfortunately. But, but you know, you find a way in it. You find what's interesting or how to make it interesting. And I think that's you know, as a musician, a friend of mine once told me that, you know, like, you're playing the same song over and over again, and sometimes you're like, you know, and he was like, find a way for you to make it interesting. Like, how are you going to connect to this in a way that's going to keep you alive? And I think with parts, you know, if you read a script that you're not necessarily a big fan of, but it's a job that you absolutely need, right? Because as we know now, all the money's in television or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, you better find that thing that's gonna, and there are, you know, like, you put yourself into it, you make it personal, and that's always gonna be interesting. If it's personal, it's good.
What makes a good script for you, Rodrigo? What would be the first hint, second hint, third hint? When you get a good script in your hands.
I think for me, you know, if you have a strong ending, for me, that goes a long way. With that said, yeah, if nothing happens in the first, you know, 35 pages, yeah, you're going to have issues. But a strong ending usually, you know, strong characters and a strong ending.
Now, do you consider yourself a method actor?
Not
necessarily.
what does that really mean? Let's talk about this.
Let's talk about that, man.
What does that really mean?
I tell you this, okay? It's a lot of, and I love that. I'm so grateful that you asked me, what does it mean to be a method actor? Because everybody, you know, when you see all these actors, intense actors or method actors or actors who've been trained in, I don't know whether it's with Strasberg, not Strasberg, with Meisner, not Meisner, with this one, with that one. There's so many. I mean, everybody has a different way to approach the work.
Right.
It's whatever works for you.
Yeah.
But it's like when you see method actor, if you're a method actor, obviously you love the method, you love Strasberg, you love the entire School of the Actors Studio and the entire Russian acting school about acting. So some actors, obviously, a lot of actors, they consider themselves method because they go deep in the work, deep, calling to deep.
Yeah.
Some actors say they'd rather not call themselves method. They don't work that way. Like Daniel Day-Lewis, they say that he's always in character. Right. Translate. We're not going to read like one step by step because it's a lot of. It's a lot of.
But that's the. Yeah, I mean, I think Daniel Day-Lewis is a good example, right?
Deep,
he's a method, quote unquote, actor.
If you do I mean, how does it work for you? Do you consider yourself a method actor? You go by your instincts? Are you open in that end?
I think depending on the work and how easily it comes to you, I think that's always the thing, right? Like. Is it going to serve a purpose if you have to, do a French accent and, do something that you normally wouldn't feel, or is the opposite of your instincts? Then I think it helps to stay in the character and.
Right.
And ultimately, I think, I really believe that, like, if you really rewire our brain is plastic, right? So you can rewire it however you like. It just takes effort. I mean, crazy people do this all the time. Right. And in a way, actors are crazy.
Yes, we are.
And
we have to be.
I think that you can take on any point of view you choose with some effort, and work, and eventually that will be how you feel about certain things. And, I think certain jobs you don't have time to do that, and for others you do. So in that sense, yes, I am method, and I think, but in there's other parts that don't necessarily require you to do all that, and and sometimes I think it's, I think whatever's going to help the actors is the best thing. Whatever's going to help the person.
Right, the instincts.
But I think for me, I would probably say that I use both. I think I use both. I'm not,
Yeah, okay, good.
There's not much to do.
It scares me a little bit when actors go one way or the other way. When it's a mix, and depends on what kind of work are you doing, the kind of directors are you working with. And like you said, it depends on what kind of, like, if it's a film, it's a television, some things you don't have a time. You
don't have the time, so you have to be practical. You can't lock yourself in a cabin for a month and eat only grapes, you know what I mean? If you feel like that's going to help you. I mean, that's a ridiculous example. But
maybe what I meant is, do you live the part? Let's see if we can go a little deep there. Do you live the part? Are you able to, let's say, I'm going to put that on hold, I'm going to go home, do my work, be with my girlfriend, do whatever I got to do, and I'm just going to block it out and get it out of my system? Or you have to, when you're in it, you have to be locked in for a lot of time.
I think when you're in it, you have to be locked in, right? When you're, when you're on set, as much as possible, right? As much as, and also depending on and also it's out of respect for the other actor, right? Like, the other actor's got a job to do. If you're sitting around, like, cracking jokes with the crew or whatever, it's not beneficial to anybody. You know what I mean?
Because
but then you could say that's method, right? If the scene is that you're smoking pot and you're you're having a great time, let's turn the set into a good time. But if your father's in a coma, you're not gonna be like, hey guys, guess what happened yesterday? You know, that's not gonna serve a purpose.
But you know what it is, and one thing that I like about you, Rodrigo, is that you're pretty intense. It's not that I'm giving you a whole. I'm analyzing your work as an actor, but you're pretty intense. You're a very, very gifted actor, and you don't seem to take yourself. It seems to me, and correct me if I'm mistaken, I'm thinking out loud. Okay.
No, go ahead.
You don't take yourself seriously, but you take very seriously what you do.
Yeah, I mean, I like that. I hope that's the point.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
you know
hard
what I'm saying?
It's hard not to take yourself somewhat seriously. But I try not to.
Right,
I think
because we sometimes get caught up, and it's scary.
Well, I mean, I think at the end of the day, we're entertainers, right? But with that said, I value the work. I want my work to be good. I think the worst thing that can happen to me is to do something that I don't think is good. You know,
and you're a tough critic with yourself.
I think we all are, right? But you want the work to be good. You want it to be flawless, or as close to flawless as it can be. That's even something that's tangible or accessible. But you always try to go deeper, always make it better, always more honest, always, have something to work on to make it more real, more grounded. I think that's always the goal.
You keep journals, you keep notes of what you do during the process of rehearsal or filming? Or sometimes?
No, for me, like music did that, but I've backed away a little bit from music in that regard, and I think acting is kind of taken more in the forefront of that. But no, I like, you know what it is? I don't like to think of anything as precious. You just give it your all in the moment, and that's
Let it be.
So yeah, so journals, I mean,
tricky.
it's not really the same thing, but yeah, I don't know. I've never been a journal person. I mean, yes, when I wrote music, but not lately. No.
Interesting. The Ninjan. How did I say it right? The Ninjan.
It's Niño.
But why say the Ninjan?
It's the
Let's
G,
talk about that because
the G is silent, so it's because it's Japanese, so I think it's the Niño.
The Niño.
Niño.
That's how you pronounce it.
Niño. It's probably Niño, actually.
Niño. I mean, I love historical pieces. I interviewed Gay Foss a couple years ago.
Oh, I love
Gabe
Gabe.
is
Yeah,
my
he's
boy.
great. He's
so
great.
You see,
so
everybody
great.
knows each other. That's the beautiful thing, you know. But when I seen, he sent me a clip. I think he posted it on YouTube, not on YouTube, on Facebook. And I seen the clip, and I said, "Oh my God, this seems like it's a masterpiece."
Yeah, a lot of work has gone into it. Yeah.
Right. Let's talk about that work specifically, please.
It was directed by Miguel Ortega, and Tran Ma was the designer, the production designer. And what I love about them is that they're just perfectionists to the T, right? And they're very open. They're not rigid in any way. Like they don't think that their way is the right way. But the sets, you know, like I walked in the first day that I get there, and I helped them build a set. We did a lot of things together, but already what they had was ridiculous. They had already like this office built, or most of the office built, with everything was antique. Every paper that was on top of my dresser was from the time period. Everything that you touched was, you would open a drawer and there were things inside the drawer from that time period. So much love and attention to detail had already gone into it that you know, it's difficult to, I think, to fail when you already have that appreciation for things. And then also Miguel, I've known Miguel since I was a kid, and he's always been very tenacious and very focused, and he doesn't stop until it's as 100,000% as perfect as it can be, or as close to life. So he, we would go and we would shoot and we would do just endless takes. You know, we have probably like 100 takes of every scene.
And tell me that you have access to those takes. Tell me that you.
Well, we would do ranges of things, right? We would try playing it, which is an actor's dream,
Which
right?
is an actor's dream.
Usually you do like 3 takes and they're like, we got it. And you're like, are you sure?
Are
Because
you
I just figured it out. I just figured it out right now.
It's so
and
true.
so it's very freeing in that sense that he'll just, you know, like he wants to make it good, and sometimes he's not sure, but he's not stubborn about it, or, you know, he's just like, okay, let's try this, or try whatever you want to try, or what about doing this, or so there was a lot of that, which makes, you know, makes
and if
the
you want
actors
to
feel
do a
very safe.
documentary, if you want to go back in time, say, let me sit down and see my own work.
Yeah, that's the great.
That's the great, because that's the scary part. Yeah. I don't like to see myself. I don't like to see interviews. I don't like when once I do it, I get it done. And my father used to say, you got to see it because you need to learn what you did right, what you did wrong. It's a learning process.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
I mean, but I guess because I also direct and as a filmmaker, I'm more on the, like, I like to watch playback. You know, sometimes you have an experience, and sometimes it's not exactly what you experienced. You know, like I've had these situations where I've been like really embarrassed, or something happened in the scene where I felt like, and you look at it and you're like, you know, it's not necessarily what your experience was of it. So I think it helps to see, and sometimes details, sometimes we were talking about this earlier, that you know, you work on things, but sometimes, you know, it's not as sharp as it needs to be, and you watch it and you're like, that moment, that thing is not, you know, it's not what you thought it was, and you might need to sit down and take 3 minutes and, you know, connect to it in a better way or something, and.
But it's a very tricky thing, man, because you have to be in the moment. You got to be locked in. You do the work, and sometimes you're in, sometimes you're out. Like you better take. Oh, you feel that that's the greatest take. Maybe then when you say you play,
But it's all part of life. I think
but
with
it's
that,
part of the process.
it's all part of the process, and it's all part of life. I mean, in life, we're in the moment, we're not in the moment, and I think they're just choices, and some choices help the character better than others, right?
Right.
And ultimately, what I was saying, if you spend a month rewiring your brain, everything you do is gonna be I'm like, you can go on the set and you're there and you're not gonna miss a thing because you had a month to work on it.
Right.
But sometimes you're not given that month. Sometimes you're given a week or whatever it is, and sometimes even less than that. Sometimes they change the thing on you at the last minute.
And they expect you to do in the snap of a finger.
Yeah, they expect you to do. And I mean, some actors are great at that. Like I was watching a really great interview with Patricia Arquette, and it was all women, and it was like these really great actresses. And Patricia Arquette, she was talking about auditioning, and she was saying, I never go into the auditions with finished work because it's a work in progress,
right.
and I'm working on it, and I'm working on it, and you have to allow yourself to feel that openness and to play, because they're moments you can't hold on to them, right? Like
no, you can't,
you work on everything, and then you show up and you're like, let's see what happens.
Let's
Hit
see
me in
what
the
it
face.
goes, man. You see how time goes so fast. You see those credits rolling up. That
Wow.
tells you, and we're just warming up. I'm not even quite ready there to leave, Gloria. But you see, time
it just goes by.
very, very tricky, man.
That's very zen.
It's very zen, but hey, it's like I have my work here, so I not even been the half of what the things that I have written down. But it's like what you said is like the process is very needed, because obviously we need results, and people like to see results. Yeah. And what you have at the end is a result.
Yes, it's a result, but you don't, as an actor, I think you never go for results.
Never.
You never go for results. You just let it take you, and it's like you're making a film, you're shooting, it's like building a house, right? You're collecting all this wood, right? Footage is like wood. The script is like the blueprints, so you're collecting the wood for the blueprints, but then when you sit down to edit it, you hopefully you have a lot of wood to be able to make a better house than what you anticipated, but you don't know how that's going to turn out.
Like Woody Allen said, there's 3 movies: the one you write, the one you shoot, and the one you cut.
And I think that's very smart. And as an actor, that's it's liberating, because all that's required of you is just to be honest. Like we can never go for results. The moment you go for results, you're dead. And television is filled with that.
Are you
and
kidding me?
I'd rather see somebody experience a real thing, whatever. That's way more interesting to me than somebody like trying to be angry or pushing for something that's really not there. The dialogue will get you really far along the way. All that's required for you is to work on things and be open and just let it go and see what happens.
It's very good. I'm reading a book about Kazan. On Kazan, he's like basically notes. It's a Q&A, basically with his work and films. But then obviously he talks about the Streetcar Named Desire, and he was a man that he liked to take notes, and he was good with actors. Like he was at the time, he was the best director for actors director. But it was very interesting. I said when you're working with great actors, they don't need much direction. You just gotta let them do their job, let them do the work. It's like I said with Brando, I didn't direct him much.
Yeah,
I let him.
Whatever's gonna
do
make
the work.
It more comfortable for that person to be able to do their job, right?
Right. And how do you make that connection when you're directing a film and you're working with actors, the chemistry and the sense of trust? How does it work for you?
With directors, as an actor?
Yes. It's easy for you to trust directors?
I don't think so. I've had experiences where you're like, let's just play, and you'll try all kinds of stuff. Some things great, some things not so great,
Right.
And then, if a director is, you don't feel safe with them, they'll go and they'll cut something that you're not going to be proud of, and that can be, that's happened to me, and that was a very, I learned what that meant, because when I used to hear that as a young actor, I used to be like, what does that mean? Like, trust? You just go there and you do your job. But it's like, no, because your job is about being open and taking chances.
And there's got to be a director or the acting coach or the mentor, whoever. You have to be in an environment that you are willing to create and willing to fall and willing to make mistakes because
Right.
everybody wants to look good, right? Obviously, when you're in front of the camera, whatever, forget about the cameras. You want to make sure that you deliver truth.
Right.
That you, whatever you do,
Right.
you're doing a scene, you're doing a monologue, or you're doing a film, an interview, whatever it is, you want to make sure that you're present, you're real. But the problem is sometimes is the thinking process can kill you. If you think too much, if you stay too much up here, you don't connect with your, whatever is going on in here, then you get stuck. Like I guess it takes great directors to get great actors.
I think a great director surrounds himself with a talented cinematographer, a talented sound person, a talented crew, and talented actors, and lets everybody do their job. And it's just, it's his job to oversee the entire project and give room for these people to be able to give their best work.
What kind of actors do you like, man? Talk to me.
I like the honest and simple kind, I think.
Like what? Give examples. Let's write some names.
From my generation, Joaquin Phoenix, I think, is fascinating to me. Who else is
when
another
I
one?
used to be a young actor, when I hear, I say, wait a minute, he's a kid. You look very young. We're not discussing age. You don't have to say how old are you. But it's like you're young. But Phoenix is one of your boys. Yeah, I like them too.
From my generation, out of the older, I think Robert Duvall is. I mean, talk about like honest and simple and just beautiful, right? Champagne, I'm a fan of Champagne, but we spoke a little about
that.
But I do love him. I do love him.
He's good. He's the man. I shouldn't say it. I sound like a joke. But when I say, wait a minute, who is that woman, Rodrigo, you were talking to? What the fuck do you think she is? No. Champagne is the man. He's the man. I love him in Carlito's Way. That's my favorite.
Carlito's Way, yeah.
I loved him. I love him. Porcel.
He was, you know what? That's actually one of my favorite Champagne performances.
Right?
As the lawyer, he was so good. He was so freaking good in that, right? Yeah.
I love it when he just goes and just get the gun. There's a scene there when he did in the bathroom when he was having sex with the other woman. I mean, it's the craziness. The back and forth scenes with Pacino and all of them. I mean, great actors coming together. It's a fucking.
Yeah. And Fast Times at Ridgemont High. You cannot deny that.
Yes,
he was so just flawless.
The time. What about women?
Women. I mean, there's so many. I think the best actresses.
But we're talking about your taste, man.
The best actors, in my opinion, the best actors are women.
We
period.
So disagree there.
And I have a theory on this. I think women, and this is, I think that the way that the genres are or the sexes are divided. That
God
women
knows we are divided.
Women see the lies or the schemes in other women, and guys see the game in other guys, the bullshit in other guys, right? Like you see another guy and you're like, that guy's just trying to pick up women.
Right.
Like I know what he's doing. He's
he's
like winking his thing, saying his line just like that, And I think women are good at, and we are blinded. Men are blinded by women. We see something and we're automatically enchanted by this beautiful like fairy tale. Things. So I think, with that, for me, women are extremely inspirational. Women actresses. I think of Julianne Moore when I think of, but there's many.
Julianne Moore, yes. Who else? So I'm curious. I'm
this is like
now we're gonna fight.
Give me your
best
10 movies, and like I'll go blank.
Well, let's think. With no pressure, no rush. Forget about the cameras. No. Like you and me were here by ourselves. Gloria, she went home with her cat. I love you, Glo. We're thinking out loud, man. We're thinking out loud. Like really, like thinking. What kind of work turns you on, man? In terms of like, oh, this is the kind of woman. That's the kind of. You see that woman. You see that guy. That's the kind of people that I want to work with. I can mention it easily. Helen Mirren, Vanessa Redgrave, Glenda Jackson, Emma Thompson, Maggie Smith, Meryl Streep, Diane Keaton, Goldie Hawn, Barbara Streisand.
Wow.
Kate Blanchett.
Kate Blanchett is, yeah.
Judi Dench. Judi Dench to me is.
Judi Dench is really amazing.
I can't. Judy Atkins. Judi Dench, Kate Winslet, Alan Rickman.
Kate Winslet, I mean,
To
there's
me,
just so many. There's just so many.
But then let's mention American actresses that I can die for in the young, between 30s and 40s.
This is.
Help me out, baby. Honestly, you see, it's hard for me to come up with one that I said. I'm not talking about people that we know. Studio members, actor studio members, exquisite actresses, actors that I know. God, there's so many great actors that I have the privilege to know. Whether I go to the studio, when I go to class, I know a lot of great people. And I'm not talking about the people that I know. They're devoted to the craft. No, people there got the big names out there.
Right.
I want to mention 5. It's hard.
It's hard. It's hard.
It's hard, man.
It's
hard. You see, it's like it is so damn hard.
It's hard. Also, and another thing is you could, and I have this a lot with my girlfriend. Like she'll watch an actor and she'll be like, I don't like that person, or. And she has her favorites that she'll watch and be like, oh, I think this person is amazing, this actor is amazing, and a lot of it also comes down to taste and preference, and performances vary.
You're more fair than me by far.
Yeah, well, it's funny. I like to say that. I'm like, she's harsh, man, and she, I feel like she has her favorites and that's it. And whereas, I can watch an actor give many actors give good performances and deliver, and then on the other, like everybody, it's not, we like to we try to be as consistent as possible, and that's always the goal, and you always want to, but I think it's difficult, that's the.
It is.
We're walking a tightrope.
Yeah, I mean, without making any, like I said, whoever makes it big, they have the greatest respect. Yeah. We know how tough it is. It is so damn hard to get a break. It's so damn hard for actors to be noticed. For writers to be noticed, for musicians to be, you see people, I mean, I see it, this is New York, there's talent everywhere, man. And you kind of wonder why it's so hard to get in, why it's so hard for actors, for real artists to have a job, like a regular job, an acting gig that is always there paying the bills, 1, 2, 3, every month. It is almost impossible. It's almost like you're dreaming. It's so hard. And then you see all this junk on TV.
And you're like, what's going on?
You say, wait a minute, wait a second. Are we in what is it? I mean, I know that Charles Dickens took a lot, he wrote his work, and it was hard for him to even to dream to have a book that was edited. It was Charles Dickens, it's like the same with Mozart. Back in the day, he couldn't pay rent.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, we're talking about like artists.
Yeah, every artist.
But it shouldn't be so hard. It shouldn't be, people are paying $25 or $40 for Britney Spears, for this one, for that one. And you go to the stores and you see most of them for $1.99, for $1.50.
Well,
I mean, what is it? What is it? Is it, are we losing what?
So you think, you really think it's hard, you think it's more difficult nowadays?
It is much more difficult. I think that, there's a lot of, we're shallow.
I mean, that's a difficult thing to pinpoint, because
it is hard, I'm not as optimistic as you are.
The bar is always raising. So what's difficult? What was difficult back then, it was difficult for back then. You had to shoot on film, and that was a challenge of its own. You couldn't just grab a camera and do it. So. Yeah, so
every time comes with, like my father used to say, every
time comes with challenges. Yeah,
absolutely.
That's very,
it's absolutely, but it's hard. Like we're talking about American actresses, just to give you an example, mention 5, 10, I can't. Forget about Meryl Streep, those we already know. They're great.
Of the newer, you're saying of the newer generation.
I'm talking about people between 30 and, forget about 30, 20 and 30. Ellen Page is good, I like her. She got a lot of edge and fire going on. But I have to really think. You know what I'm saying? When you have to think? I don't know.
Yeah,
it's just,
no.
It's like, it doesn't, the answer doesn't come
Or is it this? Or is it this?
Or I'm just too difficult. I'm a pain in the ass. Sissy, you're out of your mind. What are you talking about? And you're not cutting me out because we're warming up. I love you, Glo. Give me 10 more minutes. I'm talking with Rodrigo.
Or is it that as an older actor, you're able to to see the inexperience in younger actors? Is that the thing?
I don't know, man.
Is it that we become better at I don't know.
Help me.
And we see young people, just like in life, it's like in life. You see how people, the younger people try to cover up their insecurities or
yeah, bullshit. I mean, it's so hard. Why is it so hard to be real? I don't understand why it's so hard for avoid phoniness and fakeness.
Because I will say
hard,
this: there's a
Rodrigo?
lot of great actors. Also, we get better with age. It's unavoidable.
It is
Which
true.
is why Helen Mirren is she's been working hard, and she's a Jedi.
Yeah.
She's
Flying up there.
yeah.
But
so,
it's interesting that what you're saying, because it's like, it's not that it's not about putting anybody down. This is a great country. I love American actors. I'm an American citizen. I was born in Hungary. I'm Spanish. Hablo español directamente. I'm always reading in Spanish. Borges, Cortázar, Ernesto Sábato, Octavio Paz. We had the greatest writers. I'm telling you, Latin America, we have great writers. Cortázar, Sábato, Borges, Octavio Paz, Sor Juana Inés de la Cruz, Gabriel García Márquez, Eduardo Galeano. There's so many great writers. Okay, but it's what I was writing on Facebook the other day. I was flipping this channel on NBC, the Eva Longoria telenovela on NBC, and I couldn't stand it. I said, why all Spanish women, we have to look like that? Or we have to be sexy and curvy, have our boobs up and look this way and sound that way? And why? What is it, Rodrigo, about that? What is it? What is it? How do we break?
Well, it's funny, because I yesterday I was walking in the street and I saw this ad. I think this is like a slightly different topic, but I saw this ad for a beer that I've never heard of, I think, and the ad was split in two, and on one side it had the beer and the name, and on the other side it was just an ass of a girl in a bikini, and I thought, this is hilarious because this is the best that they could come up with. This, like, they sat around a table and they were like, how do we sell this beer? And they're like, I got it. Let's just put the beer next to an ass, and that'll take care of it. And you know what? The sad part is that they're right.
Yeah.
Because if you look at like Instagram and you look at all these things, like you'll watch like these really beautiful women with like thousands and thousands and thousands of followers, and
it's a joke. It's a joke.
Men are obsessed with a certain type of beauty, and we have no respect. I mean, again, it's getting dark. 2016 goes out.